Hey guys, welcome to my channel. And in this video, we are going to talk about BRICS naval exercise. These are some serious developments that are happening right now all over the globe. Now, see, we are in the world where maritime security isn't just about what piracy or counterterrorism or any such thing. It's about who gets to stop the ships, board ships, siege ships, like that happened in Venezuela recently. We have seen that thing, right? And then decide whose cargo is allowed, whose cargo is not allowed, all that, right? Now if you notice for past few months, what's happening is that us has been interdicting and seizing tankers that it claims that they are sanctioned and they're not supposed to be actually carrying any oil or whatnot. These are sanctioned oil and this and that. But the reality of that sanctioned oil, okay, the reality of the sanctioned oil is that those are US imposed sanctions. They're not even United Nations sanctions. Okay. So any sanction other than United Nations sanction is actually not even considered sanction. That's just simply illegal. Okay. And this is not me saying it. These are the rules. If you go read the UN charter and all that, then you'll find that thing. Okay. Now, having said that, now at the same time, if you notice, what's happening is that US has just recently released its national security strategy document. And in that document, they've clearly mentioned what the Monroe Doctrine revival, and it's called Monroe Doctrine 2.0, or certain media outlets are calling it Donroe Doctrine. Now, if you put all this together, then what you see is that there's a new reality that we are living in right now. That is, the maritime routes are being contestable again. Okay, though, so maritime security is actually at risk at this point. So what's happening when maritime security is at risk? Then it only will increase the cost of shipping. Okay, it will increase the cost of shipping. What does that mean? It means that it will lead to the global inflation. Now, because of all this that's happening, okay, but because of all this that's happening, BRICS countries have decided to organize the BRICS naval exercise in the South African waters. And this isn't just, that's just random another exercise. Okay, even though they are saying that this is a counter piracy and this and that, these type of exercise, but that's not the case actually. This is strategic. This is called will for peace 2026. So what exactly is going on, where is it, who's participating in it, and all that we are going to talk about in this video today. So stay with me till the end. It's not going to be a very long video, but this is the interesting development because uh in my past podcast, I had actually sort of predicted this thing, that this is how it's gonna play out, and this is just the beginning, and I think this is gonna expand over the period of time. Okay, so let's get started. Let's talk about what exactly is going on, and please do like and subscribe. Your liking and subscribing actually helps me. Okay, so help me help you bring all this new content, and it's authentic. Okay, so now first of all, let's talk about the will for peace. Okay, let me share my screen real quick, and then we go from there. Okay, now, so what exactly this whole naval exercise is all about? So what they're saying is that from 9 to 16 January 2026, naval military exercise entitled Will for Peace are being held in the territorial waters of Republic of South Africa, which will be what? Which will be Cape of Good Hope. Okay. Now, if you for those who don't know, um, Cape of Good Hope is actually the the alternative route to the Suez Canal. So let's say, remember, if you guys remember, then when the Suez Canal was blocked, I think it was in 2022 or something. The Suez Canal was blocked for at least 2 or 3 weeks. So the whole entire routing was basically through the Cape of Good Hope. Okay, so that's where it is. Now, participating in these drills are both BRICS member states and partner countries of the BRICS grouping. The declared objective of these maneuvers is to strengthen defense cooperation between the naval forces of the states within the expanded BRICS Plus format through joint operation to ensure maritime security, improving crew coordination and practicing maritime patrol missions. Now, the naval exercises under the BRICS Plus umbrella involve China, which will lead the drills, and and obviously for the reason because China is the largest naval uh, navy actually in the BRICS, right? So Brazil, Russia, India, South Africa, Iran, Indonesia, Ethiopia, and possibly several other states. But now there is a correction in this document, in this news, that I have checked it and I have looked into it couple of times, done some deep research into it too. India and Brazil are not participating in this. Rest of the countries, other countries like Ethiopia, Indonesia, and all are participating. Okay. Now, BRICS members hope that these exercises will become an important step towards further integration of the military forces of participating states and towards enhancing security cooperation in the region. Okay. Initially, the bloc had been formed as a purely geo-economic union. Later, it increasingly began to focus on geopolitical issues, and now BRICS Plus is beginning to demonstrate ambition to deepen military cooperation and interaction. This was bound to happen. Okay, so this is just the news in nutshell. Okay, and we will talk about this whole entire thing over the period of time during the video. Okay, so this is what exactly is going on. Okay, now question really is, the has this happened before, or this is just one time thing, or this is just the first time it's happening? So for those who don't know, this has happened before, and its foundation already exists. Russia and China, Iran actually conducted four joint naval exercises between 2019 and 2025. Okay, and these drills occurred in different regions, and for example northern Indian Ocean, then Gulf of Oman, and Iranian territorial waters, that is Gulf of Hormuz. Okay, then in 2023 South Africa, Russia, and China held joint naval drills exercises in South African waters again. Now, the first time the claim here is about scale plus branding and all that. So lots of media is basically, like I've said before, that this media is they brand it as BRICS Plus umbrella and this and that, especially the Western media. Okay, they want to sensationalize it. They want people to really read their news, so they make it sound like BRICS Plus is going to just bomb the whole entire joint and all that thing. But no, yes, BRICS Plus countries are participating in it, but is there any kind of regulation on this thing, or is this a treaty organization or treaty block right now, or is there any kind of treaty that will allow, that is forcing, or that is allowing BRICS to really do this naval drill and all that? So now here's the thing: lots of things that BRICS does. Okay, lots of things that BRICS does. If you look into it, then they um they do it outside the treaty. BRICS, I think that pretty much every BRICS country that is there, they try to avoid getting involved into any kind of treaty. Now, for example, I'll give you an example. Like, for example, look at Russia and China. Russia and China do not have any kind of military alliance or anything. They used to back in the day, but nothing recently. But still, they they cooperate in a way like it's a military alliance or something, right? Now Russians have some sort of defense pact with Iran, but the Russians are still cooperating with Iran in such a way that there is a military alliance, right? Then uh then if you look into the, like, India and Indonesia have their partnerships over there in that region. Then India and South Africa has naval partnerships and all that. Then India and Oman and other African countries have partnerships and all that, like India and Ethiopia, and all India, UAE has naval partnerships and all too. So, but they don't really say it. But if you go look deep into it, then one way or the other, it all comes down to that. Like, for example, just recently, India and Russia, they signed some maritime defense pact and all, where that allows almost up to 3,000 Russian soldiers Russian boots on the ground on the Indian soil and vice versa for India and Russia. Okay. And this is simply for the maritime security. And it seems to me the way things have unfolded over the past couple of months since last year. Okay. Uh, it seems to me that all these countries, the BRICS countries as well as the Western countries, they were very well aware of what's coming. Okay, through the intelligence or through the dialogues between the world leaders and whatnot. I think they knew. Okay, and this whole discussion probably happened through the phone calls or through the back channels. I don't know exactly how, but because lots of communication have happened. Okay, but it seems like the way things have aligned, right? It seems like that everyone knew how it's gonna shape, how things are going to shape up down the line. Like for example, uh, US saying that they're going to control the Western Hemisphere. I made a video on it. In fact, I made a video on it almost 6 months, a year or two ago. Okay, I made a video on it, and in that video, I properly drew on the map as exactly how things are gonna shape up, okay, down the line. And that's exactly how it's shaping out to be right now. Now, anyways, coming to the point. So it seems that like a US basically releasing national security strategy document saying that Western Hemisphere belongs to them. Okay, if Western Hemisphere belongs to you, then so what? Eastern Hemisphere belongs to who then? Clearly it's not going to be you. You can claim Western Hemisphere and say that Russia and China, everybody else out, this, that. But, and the BRICS countries out too. But you cannot say that at the same time go and interdict things or interfere in the Eastern Hemisphere too. So clearly there has been some sort of communication. Now, why I'm saying this? Now, if you look into it, the India-Russia Joint Pact, Naval Drill Pact, okay, the your Maritime Security Pact in the Indian Ocean region. Then India has signed Maritime Security Pact with the South Africa. India has signed Maritime Security Pact with UAE. India had signed the Maritime Pact with Indonesia. So India has already signed maritime pacts with all these countries, and India has been to Iran and Oman as well at the same time. Okay. Now there is another development that's happening, and that development is that Israel entering into the Somaliland. And in fact, Israel and Somaliland are in talks about what? They are in talks about Israeli base, military base, or naval base in the Somaliland, and I've made a video about it too. I'll post a link here, and you can go check it out. So all these developments that are happening, they're not happening in isolation. If you look into it, okay. So clearly, somebody knows something that we didn't know, right? All the communication happened, and now we are seeing the output of it. Okay. And then all of a sudden, if you also another thing is that all of a sudden some serious action started. For example, the Venezuela thing happened, right? Now Venezuela thing happened. Clearly, if you look into it now, Marco Rubio, actually Secretary of State Marco Rubio, he definitely, with his big mouth, he said a lot of things. Oh, I talked to Sergei Lavrov behind the scenes, and clearly they don't say these things. They say all this the support talks with Venezuela in front of the media, but behind closed doors they say something else. So which means that they did had this communication behind the scenes, right? So so that's why the Venezuela thing happened, right? Now this whole entire thing, what this has created a loophole, a vacuum in this region, in the Eastern Hemisphere, as to how do we secure these maritime routes. And that's what exactly all the three great powers of the Asia Pacific or Indo Pacific region are doing. And the question now, at least at this point, is that why this shift, right? That's the question I'm trying to answer right now. That why this shift from economic to military is because of all these things that I have just explained. That there is a shift out there. That okay, we need to secure all our trade routes. We need to secure our corridors. We need to secure our supply chain. And otherwise, see, this naval exercise that's happening, okay, the naval exercise that's happening, I'll tell you, the biggest threat to any ship right now in this Indian Ocean region is from Houthis, not the Somali pirates or anything, but from Houthis, they and Yemen, okay, Yemenis. And Houthis are being supported by who? Houthis are being supported by Iran, and Iran is participating in that drill. So, do you really believe for a second that this whole entire drill is a counter piracy drill? No, it's not. It's strategic in nature. Okay, so this is, and also everything strategic and everything military and all that, it starts small. Everything starts small just to see the coordination, how other countries will respond. Okay, India and Brazil haven't responded. India and Brazil are not participating for whatever reason, so you cannot take that in a negative manner. All right, and the same way UAE hasn't done that either, because UAE has its plate full in Yemen right now. Okay, then India is working with other countries diplomatically to secure the Indian Ocean region, and everyone is putting their effort accordingly, in a different way, right? So now the question is this: that is this the emergence of what? Emergence of BRICS security bloc? Are we going to see something like a BRICS versus NATO type situation militarily? So, so for now, at least for now, the short answer is that this is not a treaty alliance. Okay, but it does resemble somewhat like a quasi security community. Okay, where countries are forced to secure their supply chain and trade interests and maritime routes. Okay, so, and when this type of military exercises happen, you don't really need the treaty alliance or anything to happen. Why? Because when time comes, then countries actually get together and join the war according to their own interests. For example, World War One, US did not get involved into World War One until they saw their own interests. Same thing in World War Two. US never got involved into World War Two until the Pearl Harbor was attacked and they realized that okay, it's time, right? Then same thing with pretty much every war. I mean, Russia Ukraine war, whatever is happening, if it wasn't for Ukraine's natural resources and the globalists trying to take that over and control Russian resources as well, one by one, little by little, piece by piece, then Ukraine would be gone long time ago. They wouldn't support Ukraine. They supported Ukraine for various reasons. Number one was that NATO was getting funded illegally from here and there. Then all this has become a, I would say, a corrupt bloc that just wants money. They don't care about fighting or anything. Technically, they cannot even fight a war simply because if you look at compare the military age population within the BRICS countries versus in the Western countries or the NATO countries, it's 8:1 ratio. So BRICS bloc has 8 times more military age population uh, people than the NATO bloc. Okay, so uh, so the way I am seeing it is that it can develop further. Okay, yes, India may not have to participate, and India can say that, hey, no, we don't want to participate in any military alliance and this and that. But that's fine. India doesn't have to participate, but other countries will participate. Other BRICS countries will simply say that, hey, we want to be part of this military alliance. That's fine. Then you may see China, Russia, in Iran, Ethiopia, and other countries, other BRICS countries, who will see that their interests are at risk at this point. Like South Africa. I mean, South Africa has been threatened too. Brazil has been threatened too, right? So if Venezuela is now, then what's the guarantee that Brazil is not next? Because in 2023, the coup was attempted in Brazil as well. I mean, Elon Musk was part of that coup too. I mean, look at him right now. He has enabled Starlink in Iran too, and he's abusing that Starlink. I mean, he doesn't realize that it's bad for his own business, actually. So, on the name of mankind and all the BS that he feeds to people, never takes money from all these celebrities who are on X, but he takes money from everybody else. People who are millionaires, billionaires, they don't pay pay X, but everybody else has to pay 120 some dollars per year for that crap, right? Anyways, so so the BRICS security bloc may form down the line too. Okay, slowly and slowly it may emerge. And as far as India and China rivalry is concerned, India is now opening. India is now allowing some of the, I think the some of the Chinese businesses, has India is opening their market for Chinese businesses that India had blocked 5 years ago. Okay, so all that is being opened right now, one slowly and slowly. So so we may see certain things, certain interesting things happening down the line. Okay, now if BRICS militarization happens, then what's going to happen? See, what's going to happen is that it will uh, deepen the global polarization, and it will completely change the Western naval strategy. Okay, the way, like I said earlier, like they were talking about controlling the Western Hemisphere, right? So they thought that, yeah, we are going to say Western Hemisphere is ours, but rest of the world is yours. That's fine. But yet, what is ours, but whatever is yours is ours too. But things don't work like that. All right, this is a multipolar world. This is not a unipolar world, and uh, interference and hindering the strategic autonomy of the countries, that will only lead to problems. All right, so now what are the implications of this whole entire thing for the global south? So um, for the global south, see, number one thing is the strategic autonomy. Like for example, South Africa, it is being done in South African waters. Now what happened to South Africa? Cyril Ramaphosa, the president, President Ramaphosa was mistreated. Then US boycotted the G20 summit and all that, and then not to mention they threatened that, oh, we are not going to invite you to G20 summit in the US and all that. And then now they have left 60 some organization within the United Nations, right? All that human rights and all that thing. So they have left all those. So so it's so South Africa, countries like South Africa, Ethiopia is even doing that too, participating in naval drills. This is a sign, right? See, I said that thing that slowly and slowly Africa will start to assert its power too, and it's gonna happen over the period of time as African continent grows. Okay, and it's gonna grow when all the big global south countries or global south powers, they're gonna shift their manufacturing to Africa. And when they shift their manufacturing to Africa, what you're gonna see is that uh, Africa is gonna gain money, the financial autonomy, and all that will lead to the military autonomy. Slowly and slowly they're going to secure their border, they're going to secure their ports and all that, and whatever little bitty here and there the colonies are left here, and they will be kicked out too over the period of time. And that's gonna happen actually really really fast. So if you see that Ethiopia is participating and South Africa is participating in all this, right? So all that matters. Just few years ago, just couple of decades ago, you wouldn't hear South Africa doing this or Indonesia doing it, right? So so what does that, or what all that means? It means that there are lots and lots of regional powers that are growing. Now you will see that this happening in Africa, because Africa has lots and lots of countries with ports and all that. So we will see lots other African countries really really joining the BRICS for to I mean for ensuring the security of their, what you call it, the strategic autonomy. Hmm? Then financial autonomy, because they want to trade in national currencies and all that. And this is going to actually trigger a polarization. Why? Because the countries that are going to join BRICS, they're going to work with BRICS as far as their security and everything else is concerned. So um, I think Europe will be left with pretty much nothing, and we may see actually certain interference, Turkish and Saudi interference in Africa as well, and we have already started to see the beginning of it, that in the Yemen, that UAE and Saudis are right now on the collision course in Yemen over there. So, and all that is because they all want to maintain their uh, dominance in those regions. And that's how it's going to play out down the line. And this is the multipolar world for you guys. So, what do I say? I say, welcome to the multipolar world, guys. All right. So, this is it for this video. Please do like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys in another video. Take care.